Hi there everyone, my name's Curt, I'm the Head of Sales at Cloud9. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be looking at Microsoft Dynamics 365 for Sales. This is one of the customer engagement modules that sits alongside marketing, service, project service and also field service, and mainly this is an area that's used by sales teams and also account management teams. So today we're going to be just looking through the standard functionality, and we're going to be looking at a high level view of all of the core entities and some of the features that you're able to use out of the box and some of the areas that you're able to also customize in line with your own business and own terminology and processes. So in terms of making a start, for those of you who don't know, Microsoft Dynamics is Microsoft's CRM solution. So as I said, it forms part of the Dynamics 365 suite that has a number of other modules, and which I'm sure we'll cover in other videos. In terms of access, the solution is mainly cloud-based. It is also available on-premise, but most clients now choosing the SaaS and cloud-based model. If you're already Office 365 users, then hopefully you'll recognize this in front of you. This is your Office 365 Portal, and Dynamics is accessed in exactly the same way. So you only need one username and one password. As you can see here, Dynamics just forms an additional tile on your Office 365 Portal. The same with the Office 365 applications. You have access anywhere in the world, so you can access on a desktop or a Mac or laptop, and you also have free access via mobile. So there are applications for all tablets and also smartphones as well, meaning you're able to access your data completely on the go. So let's hop into Dynamics, would be what we call a dashboard. So these are areas where we can see what's going on with our data at any time. So as we can see from here, we've got a lead analysis dashboard, which gives us the possibility to look at what leads we have, where they've come from in terms of different sources, different source campaigns. We can see how many leads we have at the moment in terms of their different status. So again, these are the kind of things that we can rename, so different types of lead rating. We can see how many leads we've been generated in different months and so on and so forth. And all of these are drill downable, so we can click into any area and then we can do what's called drill down. So we could look at not just where the source has come from, but we might want to look at what city that they're in and build out something else. Okay, so we can do that from within here. We've got another out-of-the-box dashboard here, which is our opportunity analysis. So as we can see now, we're a little bit further down the pipeline. We have the ability from within here to see what's going on with our opportunities. We have an out-of-the-box pipeline and funnel here, so we can actually see different opportunities and where they are in the sales funnel. We can see what sort of estimated revenue we have in different parts of the funnel. And again, these are areas where clients will develop their own pipeline, their own different sets of stages, whether that's 2, 3 stages or multiple stages as well. In here we've also got our one opportunity, so we can see that this is an area where clients often put in KPIs and goals that are a standard part of the solution, and we can set up goals for teams, we can set up goals for individuals as well, or company wide, so everybody can see how we're getting on. And we can also see here, just as before, that these are all drill downable as well. Now every one of these charts, with one click we can access the records behind it, so we can very easily see what's happening in terms of what records are actually making those up. So we can see from within here that we have our different steps of the pipeline, and then from here we can also see which records are making up this report that we see in front of us. So for example, if I was to click, what do we have in this middle stage, click, the solution will just go away and it will bring back which records that we have that's making those up. And again, just as before, we can do drill down from within here. So at the moment we've got the sales pipeline by stage. We might then want to see what we have in here by estimated close date. And again, we have that ability to drill down, click on a particular area of the solution and start to manipulate our data very quickly. So there's a lot of dashboard capabilities. We'll cover a little bit more later as well in terms of the Power BI integration, but these are all standard Dynamics dashboards in terms of views and charts. So let's start with the sales process. So I thought we'd start at the very beginning. We have 2 areas within Dynamics where we're tracking essentially prospects, leads, opportunities. Again, the terminology completely down to you, so whatever you would like to call them. It's just part of the setup. So we start with, let's call them leads. These are areas where we're storing data where they're not quite ready to be forecast, but we're storing prospects, we're storing data about our potential clients. So as you can see, these list views where you can see all of your data in one place are very much like Excel. So we have the ability to do filters, we have the ability to create our contains with, etc., and any of these fields or columns, as you see them here, come directly from the record. So we have that ability to create as many different views as we would like to, and we can then toggle between them. We can make our default views, etc., so it's just an easier way of you seeing your data in different ways. Obviously ordering and things like that, we could say show us all of our leads and when they were created on in terms of order. So let's actually jump into a lead. So this is a lead record that sits behind here. So we have the record, what you're seeing in front of you in terms of all of the fields. This is what we call the data model, and this allows you, again, as any company, any client of Cloud9, any Dynamics user, to customize what that data model is. So the data model is what data you want to capture against the records. So in this case, we have a lead, could be an account, could be an opportunity. So just some standard mock-up fields we have here, like who the person is, who the company is, and we also have links down here to also some other mapping software, so we can actually see where that company is based on the location. So we have that sort of map functionality, which is great. Over on the right hand side, we also have some standard out of the box features such as stakeholders, so it's a really nice way of tracking who might be part of this. There is also a connections piece of functionality, which not necessarily is a stakeholder that works for that particular company, but it might be somebody who has an influence in that lead, might be someone that you need to keep updated in how that lead is progressing. So it's a nice way of linking records together. We also have competitor analysis within the system as well, so we can actually track who of our competitors we're working against on this particular area, and therefore run reports. These are all of the opportunities that we've lost, for example, and we can see maybe we've lost a huge chunk to that competitor, so we need to gain some competitive advantage on what we're doing here. As you can see in the middle, this is probably one of the areas that clients benefit from the most, and this timeline, as you see it here, is available on every single record. And basically what it's doing is it's tracking your internal and also external activities and communications with this client, with this prospect. So from here you can see we can actually add a number of different options here. We've got appointments, we've got emails, we've got phone calls, we've got tasks, all of those relatively self-explanatory. We do also have the ability to create our own types of activities. So a common one is something like a meeting report or a call report, something like that. Again, you have the ability to create those and therefore manage those directly. Now you can report on all of your activities. So it might be you set a KPI for certain salespeople to make 25 calls in a day or do 10 meetings in a week, whatever that might be. So we can use this functionality here to again report on and therefore track the success of our business as a whole. So just some examples here in terms of the timeline. What we're focusing on here is the tracking of external communication. So we can actually see that we have an email tracked in here, and we're going to show you the Outlook integration in a short while. We also have the ability to store our phone calls here as well. Now, a lot of clients include on their solution a connection with a telephony piece of software, so a CTI integration. It gives you the availability to do a click to dial, which literally you just find any number, you press the little icon, and what the system does is it dials that for you if you have the integration set up. And what it also does is it gives you that capability to pop in the description about the phone call as well. So a lot of this really intuitive ways of working, saving the user time, but also perhaps from a compliance point of view, you might need the ability to record calls, for example, so you have that ability as well with the integration. So the way that it works with a lead is, as I said, a lead is a prospect. A lead is something new to the business that you're tracking. It may be somewhere that the marketing team are working within. And when you feel that there's something there, we need to start forecasting this. We then qualify that into an opportunity. So that's the standard lead to opportunity process within CRM. So once we press qualify, we then move that on into an opportunity stage. Now moving a little bit further on, you can see here that we have our opportunity list. So very similar to the lead list, which will be the same for every record inside of CRM. There is a couple of other nice features that we can use on here with these list views. One of them is inline grid editing. So again, it keeps that feel of Excel that a lot of you are probably used to. And as you can see from here, I can actually just work and I can amend information on the fly. Can click into different areas, and this again is going to be affecting my pipeline, my reporting. So if you are Friday afternoon or a Monday morning type salesperson who likes to go through and just amend their opportunities, this quick inline editing just gives you a really nice way and really simple way of just going through and amending the information on the fly. At every single list view that you see, you also have your pop-out charts available. So just as we were showing you on a dashboard, and really a dashboard is just a accumulation of all of your favorite views and all of your favorite charts, but you also have ability to access these absolutely anywhere. So again, if I wanted to just quickly look at the sales pipeline when I'm on my opportunities view, again, I have that ability, and again, I have the drill down functionality as well. So the final couple of things to say on list views, which are just important, again, keeping that familiarity that you have with Excel. You have the ability to export to Excel from any area, so we can export into a static worksheet. We can also export into Excel Online, so again giving us that multi-update functionality nice and quickly. We also have the import functionality too from here, so if you have data that's on a spreadsheet, again literally with one click you can import that data. And you also have a mapping wizard inside of the system. So you could say column A relates to a field value, and we can then import in bulk as well. So now we've moved on, as we said, in that sales process. We're now looking into an opportunity. So we've qualified a lead. The lead then becomes an opportunity. Another area that clients really like is this process bar up at the top. And this can be a process from lead through to opportunity, so a full sales process, or we can have different processes for different records. Again, so the real flexibility of Dynamics is coming to the forefront there. These process bars are usually a number of steps. So again, a client would set up how many different steps that they need. You can see under each step we then have a list of either tasks, data capture, or potentially even something like an approval process. So again, this allows us to build in that process, perhaps as a fail-safe, perhaps as a training mechanism, or just so you want everybody to sing from the same hymn sheet. And these steps again are then presented to you in that funnel sales pipeline that we looked at. So it's part of the salesperson's job to move that opportunity along the line. You also see we have some padlocks here. So again, it's that fail-safe of, well, if not everything is completed as part of this step, we then can't move them on to the next step. Up at the top, again, customizable, but often these fields are what clients like to use. So things like estimated close date, estimated revenue, different sales statuses, again, how you want to manage that. Every record in CRM has an element of ownership. So again, we have that ability to report based on what people are doing, what individuals are doing, what teams are doing, and therefore how they're getting on potentially against KPIs or targets as well. You can also see that hovering over any of these contacts, any of these owners, gives you the ability to pop out these little cards. This is a really nice new feature, and you can then again send an email. You can see more contact information, which is pulling from the contact record. You could even show more as well, and you could see further information in a wider view as well. If they are internal, so if you have a user, for example, you can use that send chat to utilize the chat functionality within Teams. So again, it's just nicely bringing that all together. If you are looking on a particular record and you want to have an internal discussion with somebody around what's going on with this particular opportunity, then again, it's that nice feature of linking in with Teams or a chat functionality that you're using, which is great. So we've spoken about the process bar. There is also a small add-on here for LinkedIn. So we do have the ability, if you have a LinkedIn Sales Navigator team account, then you can utilize this integration here. We have got another video on this on our YouTube channel, so I won't delve into this in too much detail, but you have the ability to sign in your Sales Navigator, and then you can match back and forth with contacts. So yeah, please check out our other video on the YouTube channel around that one. You can see the timeline here. So again, that continues throughout the sales process, the communications we're having from lead through to opportunity. And therefore, actually, when the opportunity is closed, all of these communications also will track against the account record, and we'll touch on account records in just a short second as well. What you can also see from here is we have the relationship assistant. So this is great. This is a new piece of AI which is coming in completely as standard with the solution, and it's actually giving you a suggestion on what you should be doing. You've got a meeting upcoming. Do we need to take notes? Do we need to look at the appointment record? We have these stakeholders, sales team, etc. So again, this is customizable in terms of what you want to present, but there's tons of great features in here which you can utilize. As part of some opportunities, again, this won't be for every client, but if you're actually looking to sell a product, or you want to actually manage the products, the line items, so to speak, that you are sending out in terms of trying to sell, essentially, or trying to offer, what you can see from within here is you have the ability to pull through your products. So we'll cover this in a separate video in terms of products and product line items, because it's not for everyone, but you have the ability to pull in your product line items. You can put in discounts, you can put in number of quantities, etc. And this then allows you to build out what your good performing products are, what your what your pipeline is looking at, and then obviously as you extend this further, you'd even have the ability to see and start to manage basic stock and inventory as well, so you can see how that all interlinks. Once you've put your product line items together, again, you don't have to use the product line items, but if you are that particular type of business, then you have that ability too. Then you'll be moving on to a quote. So you actually have now the ability to create yourself a quote record. You can pull in information, you can have standard features, standard information, standard embedded videos, terms and conditions, all that kind of stuff in your documents, because from here you have then the ability to use your Word templates to create a quote, to create an opportunity summary, to create a quote record, whatever it might be. So using that merge field technology, we can then build out templates and send them out. And again, we've got another great video of that on our YouTube channel, so feel free to check that out if you want to look more in detail. Okay, so we've gone into a lot of information about the opportunity. In terms of actually succeeding with this, we have our closers won, closers lost options up at the top here. It's also fair to say that behind every record we do have a document library. So again, another video on this on the YouTube channel, but this is where you can integrate with your SharePoint and have it easy to manage documents as well. So closers won, hopefully, closers lost, hopefully not, but this is then closing out the opportunity record. So it takes it out of our pipeline, but then we have an account to manage. So in terms of an actual account in an actual review, so we've just mocked up an account record. Again, we're utilizing this ABC Limited that we have. You can see we still have the timeline. You can see we have a customizable data model as well in terms of what we want to capture. I think the key part of an account is it's nice to have everything rolled up into one place. So if anybody wanted to see what's been happening with ABC Limited, we can see our timeline, what the communications are, what we're doing from within here. Of course, as part of this timeline, and again on every record, we do have the ability to always refresh that. We also have the ability to filter as well. So there's this really nice looking filter pane where you can see which types of activities we have, whether they're active, overdue. There's loads of different options here that we can filter through, so much so by date or by particular activity as well, which is great. Over on the right hand side, who's our primary contact, so we can have secondary contacts if we want to. Who are the people who actually work for this business, which is obviously important. And then down here we're getting into a bit more as in what's happening with them from a sales point of view. So the opportunities, the orders, all are rolling up to this area. I showed you before, we have this nice sort of Bing Maps integration. Even you can go down the street side as well and see the different options there, which is just a nice feature too. These tabs at the top here, again, gives you the ability to almost segregate the data. So what we try to do with clients is not just have loads of scrolling to reach the particular field that you're looking for, but put different blocks of data into tabs. So from here we can see which type of industry they're in, who's looking after it, the different marketing functionality, what their contact preferences are. So again, GDPR piece in terms of compliance, and you can have as many of these different tabs as you would like to. And again, we'll help you to organize that. A couple of other areas just nice to have from an overarching view. We can see we have an organization chart, which is a nice feature where you're plotting the different people who work for the organization, and again you have the ability to move those around and add further people. And also what we also have from a business point of view is the ability to have parent accounts as well. So we can actually have a number of different tiers to this, so you're not limited to the number of tiers, but what it also does then is present you this nice hierarchy which shows you which different businesses are associated to which. It also allows you then to report on the individual business or subsidiary, or you can also report as a group. So again, just nice features, well presented, but also from a functionality point of view, it's probably important to a lot of businesses now that they understand who's working for that organization and also what the makeup of that organization is as well. So what we also have, just before we finish, I was promised earlier to show you the integration with Outlook. So this is actually Outlook Online. This also works exactly the same with Outlook for desktop. What we have at the top is we have a slightly just add-on really, which is a dynamics pane. So we actually have the ability to pop that open. We can also pin it as well, which a lot of clients do now, a lot of users, they just like to have an ongoing basis. From here, we have a number of different options available to us. What this is doing really is linking back to that timeline that we showed. So that's where you have your emails, calls, and so on and so forth. And what this integration is showing is giving you an Outlook and also the Dynamics solution as well. So once the side pane is open, what it essentially does is it presents to you information about the contacts that it finds as part of the email thread. So we've just got a sample email here, and what you can see is on the right hand side it's presenting us the contact record it finds inside of CRM, and then presenting us whatever information that we want back into our Outlook pane. So from here, again, we have the ability to click to call and so on and so forth. So it's a nice link in there, but really useful if whoever you're emailing doesn't send a signature or doesn't include the information that you want. Again, you can pull that information back and provide that to you. So you also have the ability to track an email from here. So by tracking, that's basically what we were showing you before, is showing in that timeline. But what you can also do, which is great, is you have the ability to track that automatically against any record. So this is quite useful if you've got information that you're sharing with a third party, that you're having internal emails. You can actually track any email against any record inside of Dynamics, which is really, really useful. So as you can see from here, that's now tracked against Hannah Smith. I could actually track it against any record, and there's no link to that. I can also create records from here as well, and I can also change the regarding at any time. Once you've set that email to track, then every subsequent email as part of that thread will continue to track as well. So some really nice features, a really sort of easy to use taskbar, and lots of other things on here as well. So finally, I said we'd just revert back to dashboards and reporting. I know it's a really important part for most clients that we work with. What we do have within Dynamics now, which is again fantastic new feature, is we have the ability to integrate with Power BI. So Power BI is Microsoft's reporting tool, and with Power BI you can obviously connect to multiple data sources, which is really useful. But what we can do now within Dynamics is we can actually pull back and present Power BI dashboards inside of Dynamics. So we don't need to go into the Power BI application anymore. We have the ability to open those Power BI dashboards from within inside here. Or really it's just a little bit more mature in terms of a reporting tool. So you can do lots of snazzy things like create these different steps in terms of the pipeline. You have these sliders essentially where you're able to just make selections. And if you click on a particular selection, you'll obviously see all of the information change. Vice versa, if you were to change it back, you'd see some other information. You can hold down your control element and you can then click on, again, further pieces of data or further blocks, whatever that is, and you'll see the data change as well. So thanks guys for your time this morning. It's been great showing you Dynamics 365 for sales. If you want to go into the solution in any more detail, have any particular questions, please feel free to reach out. The information should be in front of you, and we'd be really excited to hear from you and help understand how Dynamics for Sales will help your business.